Welcome, FNUSA57 here. I'm back on my Xbox One, and I am on Remnant from the Ashes. In this video, I will be showing you how to defeat the final boss of the game, the Dreamer. I would recommend that you pause the video if you don't want any spoilers. However, if you are looking up the guide, then you've probably already gotten to the end of the game. In short, what we need to do is once the quest has been updated and we have found Ford, we have to go back to Ward 13 and go to the basement, because this is where we will find the mirror that we need to use to actually travel to the spot where the final boss is. So really simple. All you have to do is come down here, use this particular computer, use the founder's key on the terminal, and go ahead and initiate the mirror. This will take us to the checkpoint. Initialize mirror, and then you can just back out, and this mirror will do its funky little stuff. Now you can go through. You probably knew that already, but just for anybody who didn't know, I'll take you through all of the steps. I would recommend going into this boss battle with your mods charged, because it will make it easier. And I would also recommend using the temporary consumables if you have them. If you don't, it's not really that much of a big deal. So I prefer to keep a healing potion, ammo boxes, frenzy dust, and bandages in my quick tray. And then right before I get to the boss door, I am going to go ahead and use a set of the temporary boost items. Now you don't have to use those, but they do make it easier. They can be found throughout the world from various vendors. Each vendor has some specific ones though. I will use an entire set just to show you. You don't have to use the entire set. That is strictly up to you. So once you go through pretty much all of this ward, also known as Ward 17 for those of you who care, you will come to this checkpoint crystal. Now you can rest here and restock your ammo if you need to do so. I am going to be using the submachine gun, the hunting rifle, the Guardian's axe, with 2 pieces of Radiant gear, 1 piece of Cultist gear, the Gunslinger's Charm, the Stone of Balance, and the Devouring Loop. What you use is completely up to you. This is what benefits my build the most though. So now I'm going to take a set of the temporary consumables. I used Divine Nectar, the Golden Plum, Mudtooth Stew. I will also use Mudtooth Tonic. And then we will go ahead and do the Houndmaster's Jerky. So this is the maximum buff that I can obtain at this time. And once again, it's totally unnecessary to use those consumables if you don't want to.
Once again, the children of the core think to change the
you do get a cutscene here, and unfortunately that cutscene is something that you cannot skip.
We bring purity to chaos.
And you have to watch the cutscene when you go in the first time, whether you're playing in co-op or not. This fight can be easier with a second person, but the difficulty of the enemies inside will scale the more players that you have. So just keep that in mind. Adding an additional player to the game is not necessarily the answer to complete it. Now, while we're dealing with this cutscene, I will tell you this boss, if you don't know already, has 2 phases to it. The first phase is relatively easy. The only problem with it is there's a extremely small hitbox, so it can be difficult to hit with certain precision weapons like the hunting rifle or beam rifle. Weapons like the SMG or the typewriter, even the AR, function a little bit easier to hit that actual hitbox and the weak point. His second form is really easy to hit. It's giant, though. So all we're going to do, I'm going to get started. And it's pretty basic. Just pump out damage on him. I use the swarm mod. And then he lands on the ground and he has that double attack that he does. And then he'll do a spinning attack and suck you in. And then land on the ground again. And once again doing those little double slam. Super annoying. Then he goes into mortars. Sometimes he'll do mortars right off the bat. And of course he does summon some ads. The ads aren't too terrible. And that's it for his first form. But only if it was that easy. Because guess what? He's back. And he's upgraded. Now his second form isn't that bad either. I'll go ahead and heal up. And we'll just get some range from him. He's got a shield, so you can't really do much damage to him. But you can charge your mods. I recommend that you have at least one charge of swarm ready. And he will be teleporting us into the dark dimension. Ooh, scary. Not really. But this place will drain your health relatively quickly, so I do recommend that you keep an eye on where the exit is. And what you want to do is you want to rack up as many kills in this area as you can, keeping in mind that the longer you are in this area, the more difficult the enemies will be. Like, it'll start spawning different enemies, it'll start spawning elites, it can even spawn some bosses, and it will be draining your health. So you don't want to use up too much of your health, obviously. There we go, we're starting to get the archers in here. Got to be careful that they don't bleed you. You want at least 10 stacks. I have 13. So I'm going to go ahead and exit the portal. Pop a frenzy dust. Get swarm out. We're going to drop his shield. And he's out of there. Now that is with my high crit build and weapon mods. It is on normal, but you can do a pretty much similar tactic on hard. They may adjust the different weapon mods and weapon damage and stuff later on, but how we're doing that massive amount of damage is by building up those stacks, which you get 1 stack for every kill you get in the Dark Realm. And then that increases your damage against him. You take out his shield, and then you just unload on him. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the guide. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, make sure you leave a comment, and I will do my best to answer all of your questions and help you out. If you did enjoy the video, slap the like button and share it with a friend, as that greatly helps me out with the searchability of videos here on YouTube. Until next time, stay frosty.